Biden vows to stand by Ukraine, despite budget fiasco.
Here's a summary of the article.
President Joe Biden has vowed continued U.S. support for Ukraine, after further military funding was excluded from a last-minute congressional budget deal. "We cannot, under any circumstances, allow U.S. support to Ukraine to be interrupted," Mr. Biden said. The U.S. has already supplied some $46 billion in military aid to Ukraine since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022. Senior Senate leaders from both parties released a joint statement signaling their intention to ensure the U.S. government continues to provide support to Ukraine in the coming weeks. The vote in U.S. Congress is disturbing. The U.S. said they would be with Ukraine as long as it takes and now see how support of Ukraine is excluded from the stopgap deal. "This is the sign of alarm, not only for Ukraine, but for Europe, too," he told the BBC. This political turmoil is one of several symptoms of Western fatigue. The growing skepticism from some Republicans and the recent election victory for a populist, pro-Moscow party in Slovakia are concerning for both Ukraine and the European Union. In an interview with the BBC in Kyiv, the EU's most senior diplomat, Josep Borrell, said he was worried by the latest decision on funding for Ukraine by the U.S. Congress.
This post received a score of 7,200, with an upvote ratio of 92%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Fiasco as in, engineered crisis by Republicans. This was not a true referendum on the effectiveness of Biden administration's approach or policies, just yet another demonstration of GOP's descent into mayhem.
I wonder what Reagan would think of Republicans tap dancing for Russia these days.
If you presented Reagan's policies to MAGA types that worship him without his name attached, they would call him a rhino.
They'd call him a Democrat.
Even Jesus is too woke for them.
Nah, they would lynch Jesus if he is walking in America right now.
They only want religion as a cudgel in an idiotic moral crusade. So the other portions are an inconvenience to be forgotten.
Fiasco seems like a strong word. Somehow Congress defied all expectations and managed to keep the government open, with a small delay in Ukraine funding. There is reason to be concerned that opposing Ukraine funding is becoming the dominant position of Republicans and what this might mean down the road, but for now there are still plenty of Republican members of Congress who support Ukraine. The main danger is with a Republican president.
Fiasco gets more clicks than brouhaha or kerfuffle. With the set of losers currently running, yes. Hopefully the GOP loses the House majority in 2024, which would defang their unhinged extremists.
Many of the candidates do strongly support Ukraine, Pence, Christie, Haley, but the ones, or one, in the lead are less likely to help.
Those three aren't gonna be the GOP candidate. It's going to be Trump. If and only if Trump can't run, then it would be DeSantis. Ramaswamy, Haley, Pence all have a small chance in that order. As you can see, the pro-Ukraine candidates are only at 4th and 5th place. Realistically, the GOP candidate is most likely going to be against supporting Ukraine, and that's how the GOP position should be treated as.
I don't see Trump or DeSantis getting enough votes to win the primary outright. It's going to be an interesting primary for Republicans just to watch the chaos.
Trump is so far ahead of the others it's not even funny. He might even win primaries while sitting in a cell.
Trump will win the primaries, and he can still become president in jail. If he wins, he will most likely be let out and have his jail time be put on hold. He was found guilty of the charge in Georgia or some other state charge. Since he can't pardon state crimes, all he really has to do is avoid going to that state. That being said, we can still prevent that by voting him out before that can happen.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.